This is the investigation report into Stiller Banner's grounding and subsequent sinking. The Maritime Administrator for the Republic of Marshall Islands has issued its casualty investigation report into the grounding and total loss of a very large ore carrier, the MV Stiller Banner, off the coast of Brazil, revealing that the master deviated from the planned course before the grounding. The Marshall Islands registered Stiller Banner, operated by Polaris Shipping, contacted the bottom after departing Porto Madeira, Brazil, with nearly 295,000 metric tons of ore on board, bound for China, back in February of 2020. The ship anchored while the crew members assessed the damage and attempted to control the flooding into void spaces and water ballast tanks. However, after several hours, water was coming in faster than it could be pumped out, prompting the master to move the vessel into shallow water and intentionally ground it. Over the course of several weeks, 3,500 metric tons of fuel oil and 140 metric tons of diesel fuel was removed from the ship. By the end of May, about 145,000 metric tons of cargo had been removed and the ship was refloated. It was then immediately towed and re-anchored in deeper water, where a damage survey was conducted and eventually determined the ship was a total constructive loss. On June the 12th of 2020, Stiller Banner was scuttled in more than 2,700 meters of water, approximately 55 nautical miles from the coast. The flag state report said it was the master's decision to deviate from the planned route during outboard transit and transit within 1 nautical mile of a 20-meter shoal based on limited hydrographic information that contributed to the casualty. It also pointed to ineffective bridge resource management and the operating company's navigation watchstanding procedures for not providing clear expectations and guidance as contributing factors. Based on the master's statement, he had decided to leave the marked channel since it was after high tide and there was deeper water outside the channel. The charted depths outside the channel were all greater than 20 meters. The master did not tell the third officer why he decided to leave the marked channel, nor did the third officer ask the master why he decided not to follow the planned route. There's not much information here, but the full report is really long and really difficult to read. This ship, fully loaded with 295,000 metric tons of iron ore, deviated from the planned route, left the channel, and ran aground, ripping a hole in the bottom. Luckily, she didn't sink where she was. They managed to unload most of the cargo, the oil and fuel, but she still was a write-off. One thing of note here that I did find in the full report, the third officer only had 2 months experience as the third officer and only 2 months experience with the company and only just over a year's time at sea. He was pretty green. Is that the reason he didn't challenge the master's decision to deviate from the plan? I have no idea. Maybe the guy was just following orders, doing as he was told, but he was pretty green. But at the end of the day, the master is the one who made the decisions, and he's the one who's going to take the responsibility. He has no choice. I just thought it was interesting that the guy was so new. This could have been a lot worse than it was. They did manage to ground the vessel and give them time to get all the oil and the fuel off and most of the iron ore. It wouldn't have been the end of the world if they lost the iron ore, but keeping all that fuel and oil out of the ocean was a good thing. She's now a natural reef in very deep water, 2,700 meters deep. That's pretty deep, that's for sure. There is a video on YouTube if you want to search for it of when she was scuttled. She sank really fast, that's for sure.